And we are back. What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully you had a good 5-minute break, and we are going to dive back into AWS Flaws2.Cloud. We completed level 1 in the first part of the stream, and in the second part of the stream, maybe we will complete level 2. We'll see how far we can get. I have maybe about 45 minutes. I can hang around with you guys a little bit longer. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. Share my screen. Level 2. I'll zoom in so you guys can read this a little better. Lessons learned. Whereas EC2 instances, EC2 was just the big word AWS uses to say a virtual machine. Whereas EC2 instances obtain the credentials for their IAM roles from the metadata service at 169, as you learned in Flaws2.Cloud level 5. I haven't done Flaws2.Cloud level 5, but I bet it's an SSRF vulnerability to receive those. AWS Lambda obtains those creds from environmental variables. Often developers will dump environmental variables when error conditions occur in order to help them debug problems. This is dangerous as sensitive information can sometimes be found in environmental variables. All right. Another problem is that the IAM role had privs to list the contents of a bucket which wasn't needed for its operation. Best practice is to follow a least privilege strategy by giving services only the minimal privs in their IAM policies that they need to accomplish their purposes. AWS CloudTrail logs can help identify past usage, leveraged by Duo Security's Cloud Tracker, or AWS Access Advisor, leveraged by Netflix's RepoKit. Finally, you shouldn't rely on input validation to happen only on the client side or at some point upstream from your code. I mean, this is super important just in web apps. So my role is I'm a web app pen tester, and this is something I notice all the time with web applications. They rely on client side. You can never trust the client, right? AWS applications, especially serverless, are composed of many building blocks all chained together. Developers sometimes assume that something upstream has already performed input validation. We know what happens when you assume. In this case, the client data was validated by JavaScript, which could be bypassed, which then passed into API gateway and finally to the Lambda. Applications are often more complex than that, and these architectures can change over time, possibly breaking assumptions about where validation is supposed to occur. All right. Level 2. The next level is running as a container here, container.target.flaws2.cloud. Just like S3 buckets, other resources in AWS can have open permissions. I'll give you a hint that the ECR, Elastic Container Registry, is named Level 2. Okay, well, let me go ahead and define this for those of you who might be new to it. So we understand what we are doing. There's a Cloud Goat scenario that actually deals with this as well. So what is Elastic Container Registry? It's a fully managed container registry offering high-performance hosting. So think like Docker type stuff. Dockerized, containerization, things like that. It's just like Docker being hosted by AWS would be my understanding of it. Apparently they don't have a good definition of it. So we can push container images, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can find a better understanding of it. Okay, what is it? This might help us a little more. So it's an AWS managed container image registry service that is secure, scalable, and reliable. They support private repositories with resource-based permissions using AWS IAM. That's like our user permissions. This is so that specified users or Amazon EC2, remember VM, instances can access your container repositories and images. You can use your preferred CLI to push, pull, and manage Docker images, Open Container Initiative images, and OCI-compatible artifacts. So here are some components of it. The big idea is it's how you're hosting containers, Docker, things like that. But Amazon always has to use the weirdest dang names to describe their services, like ECR, Elastic. I mean, they actually have container in the name, so I'll give them credit for that. So we need to enumerate this container. Let me see if I have any notes on container enumeration. I don't, but I believe, I did a scenario. Yeah, ECS takeover. So this is a scenario in Cloud Goat that was very similar. But this one, it looked like I got RCE first and then began to enumerate the container. Enumerate running container for creds. So that's if we can get code execution on the container, that would work. But I don't think this is going to be the way that we get access, because it tells us specifically, the hint is that the ECR container is named level 2. Let's see if Jay Gold has stopped breaking ChatGPT. Come on, Jay Gold, dude. Can you stop? What up? Doesn't Microsoft Edge have like Or Bing. Doesn't Bing have like a chat GPT? Oh well. Let's just type enumerate where's that hacking the cloud website might be helpful. Dude, I don't have Snapchat, bro. Jay Gold saying in the chat to do Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat. Okay, so enumeration, account ID. Not Snap. What if we just type ECR? Okay, abusing misconfigured ECR resource policies. AWS allows a container registry, private repositories use resource-based policies to delineate which entities are permitted to push and pull containers. As a result, it's possible for these policies to be misconfigured and potentially abused. The following are some examples of possible misconfigurations and the required permissions needed to take advantage of them. Okay, so aside from the wildcard principle, you should also be mindful of overbroad permissions in general, such as permitting an entire AWS account to have access. So understanding ECR get authorization token. A unique requirement to abusing misconfigured resource-based policies in ECR is get authorization token. The attacking entity must have this permission via an identity-based policy. It cannot be permitted via a resource-based policy, even if the action element is that which is a wildcard. For scenarios in which the policy is a wildcard principle and a broken policy, this is not a problem, as you can create a role with the needed permissions. We don't have like any permissions. Where no groups, no roles, no user IDs. If we look at our notes, since JGold still has ChatGPT broken, I don't think I could even list my roles. I can get caller identity, but that's it. I can't do anything else. So, oh well. A unique requirement, we read that, downloading containers require permissions. As an example, take the following. We can take advantage of this with the following commands. First, we need to authenticate to the registry, which we don't know. Use Prowler. A unique requirement, so it's a misconfigured. It doesn't tell us how to abuse this. What up, G7AV4? Good to have you here, my friend. How do I just enumerate like an ECR repository? List images? The repository with image IDs to be listed? So what is it, like AWS, list images, registry, ID, and what do you say? I'll give you a hint, it's called level 2. Level 2, profile, flaws 1. Nope. Let's do it over here. AWS, list images. What if I just do that? Okay, so that's not an option. Do I have to do like ECR list images? ECR. Maybe it's ECR list images. So if I do AWS ECR list images, and then registry. Oh, maybe it's registry name, level 2, profile, flaws 1. The following arguments are required. Repository name. Oh, okay. I called it registry name. Maybe I should learn how to read. Oh, sweet. It worked. I was not expecting that to work. Beautiful. So we have an image digest here, an image tag called latest. So we do have an image ID now. So let's see how we can abuse this. If we have an image ID, we want to enumerate that particular image. If JGold would stop breaking ChatGPT would make this really easy. Examples, to list the images in a repository, which is what we did. Repository name. Okay, but what do I do now? So the list of image IDs for the request repository, is that the image digest? This number right here must be the image ID, right? Object with next token. Okay. What if I do enumerate ECR image ID? Describe images. That might be what we're looking for. Returns metadata about the images in a repository. Describe images is a whatever operation may be issued. So this would be AWS ECR describe images, and we'll do the registry. Or is there an image ID? Generate page size. Image IDs, yeah, there. Let's do image ID. Image IDs. Is it just this? Image ID is that. Profile Flaws1. Region US East 1. Oh, I need a repository name as well? Really? What if I just do repository name then? Okay. So if we describe images, we get a few more information. We have image details. We have our registry ID here. We have our repository name here. We have our image digest here. We have image tags. We have the image size in bytes. We have where the image is pushed at. And we have the image at manifest media type. We have a Docker distribution manifest v2 plus JSON. Let's grab this information because it looks helpful. And let's drop it in our notes. So we have it. Now I wonder from here, how do we abuse this? Next level is running as a container, just like S3 buckets, other resources in AWS. Is this an actual link? Yeah. So how do we enumerate it from here? Filter. Maybe we should just type like. Do they have just an overview of what we can do with ECR? Available commands. Get image, that might be helpful. Describe images, we did that. Describe registry. What's this do? Get detailed information for an image. Images are specified with either an image tag or image digest. Well, screw it. Let's give it a shot. AWS ECR batch get image. And we can do what? Can I specify image digest? If I just do registry ID. Oh, yeah. Okay. So repository name is what I meant to do there. And image ID is just required too. Which shouldn't be too hard. I think the image IDs is this number here, maybe? What appears to be a hash. Or not. There. Must be one of image digest or image tag. Unknown parameter and image IDs. Okay. So we do have image digest and we have image tag. So I guess let's grab the whole image digest. Or if I just put an equal on the end. Okay, well if I do image tag then? Image tag was just the latest, I think. Is there an image tag on here? CLI input, endpoint URL. Oh, endpoint URL might be helpful too. A list of image ID references that corresponds to images described. The format of the image IDs references image tag equals tag or image digest equals Oh. Maybe I should read. Jay Gold said, "Woot, database errors fixed. Time to slack off." Dude, get off Chat GPT, homie, so I can use it. So if I do like image tag equals latest. Oh, that did something. I don't know what it did, guys, but it did something. I don't know if it gave me anything interesting. Let's just copy this. Kind of like an Easter egg hunt here. I don't know what these commands are going to do till they do it. So it's giving us the media type. We have the image digest. We have these Docker containers. I still don't get how to abuse this. Let's go back to our. Let's check ChatGPT. Stupid ChatGPT. What's the hint? If an ECR is public, you can list the images with this. Okay, didn't we kind of already do that? Didn't I do that as a command? Maybe not. AWS ECR list. Oh, yeah, I did. I see it. Whoops. Repository name level 2. Registry ID. Is the account ID? And I have that in my notes, I think. I don't think it's going to give us anything good. Okay, we already had that information. What else am I missing? You can find the account ID with the session token. We have that. All of Flaws2 runs out of US East 1. You can then list the images with list images, repository name, level, registry ID. You can make that call from any AWS account from a user that has ECR privileges. Since I'm nice, I gave the level 1 role privileges to make that query and others to complete this level if you don't want to do it from your own account. Okay, well, that's fine. I already did all that. What am I missing? Because we have, pull up our notes here. We did all this. We found the registry ID. We were enumerating the images. We did the batch get image. We found all this information here. Maybe I have the information I need. I'm just not understanding what I'm looking at. Now that you know the image is public, you have two choices. You can either download it locally with Docker pull. Oh, we're going to use Docker. And investigate it with Docker commands or do things more manually with the AWS CLI. Oh, look, this is exactly what I was doing. Okay, I was on the right track. ECR batch get image repository name level 2 registry ID image IDs image tag latest oh my goodness. I never would have gotten that. Well, maybe I would have eventually. If I had ChatGPT, I would have gotten it. The other way is do Docker to download it locally. You'll use get login. and we'll pull it. Docker inspect level 1. You'll see the latest command with that, and to see previous commands, use parent hash value. Let's try it that way. Profile Flaws1, region US East 1. Okay. You'll see the latest command with that. And to see previous commands, use the parent hash value with the same command. So we're logging in using the user AWS, and we have this password here, which seems to be base64 encoded, or a JWT session token, or an AWS session token, something. Let's make it a little more pretty and see what's going on here. Oh yeah, so this is a session token, right? Or a data key. Let's grab this and drop it into our notes and see if we can just analyze it a little further. So here's our payload. All of this is our payload, which sure looks like an AWS session token to me. Was there an access key or anything there? If I just run this command. Oh, shoot. Oh, there's a specific Docker for... There's a specific way to install Docker. There's already a package called Docker. That's what I thought. To install Docker, you need to remember there's already a package named Docker. Therefore, Docker has to be installed in a different name. The version we'll be installing is Docker IO. All commands are the same. Okay, let's go ahead and install this. Like, can I just run that command and log in? That's my question. We'll find out, guys. I got like 15, 20 minutes. Then I got to jump off. Regardless if we're done or not. But maybe we'll get close. Or I'll just look ahead and see what the answer is. What the heck is the E in Docker? Like execute? Are we passing an environmental variable or something? What if I just remove it? Whoops. Using password via the CLI is insecure. Use password stdin. Got permission deniable. Trying to connect to the Docker daemon socket at. Oh, I might just need a sudo that beast. Oh, shoot. Login succeeded. Oh, was I not supposed to do that though? So we did Docker pull that. How do I see my images? Manage containers, manage builds, manage images. Would that be considered an image locally? Docker image inspect level 2. What if I do this whole thing? Gosh, sudo. What the heck was the image called? So it said to do this. Then it said to do Docker pull this. Sudo Docker pull. Oh, I just did all this auto. I was doing it all wrong. Okay. Let's see what happens. We have to download this locally, it would appear. So that's what we're doing. To download it locally, you'll use that. You'll see the latest commands with that, and to see previous commands, use the parent hash value with the same command. Okay, so now if we do Docker, probably sudo Docker inspect level 2. How do I list my images? Okay, so there's our image ID. Okay, so can I do like image history, and then what is it? Repository and size. So this is the repository. Oh, okay. So now we have some history here. And we have things that are missing. But we can see our latest commands. Now, how did it say? You'll see the latest command with that. And to see previous commands, use the parent hash value with the same command. I don't know if I'm understanding this. So we can see what it's doing. How do I see it fully? Like, Docker inspect, image inspect. Ooh. So it's a little bit different from what's here. Docker image inspect. So now we have the SHA-256 hash. We have when it was created, expose ports. We have the command. We're starting a bash script. Docker version. Lower dir. So what do we need to do? To see the latest commands with that and to see previous commands, use a parent hash value. Do I need to go through each one of these? That would kind of suck. Okay, I'm limited on time, guys. We're going to look at the next hint. The original Docker file had the command there. did it. Actually, I think I may have saw that. Right here. Missing. Okay, let's see if we can just grab that real quick. And then what do I have to do? Do I do inspect? Can I just do any of these and inspect it? Maybe if I write SHA 256 properly, that would do the job for us. No. So inspecting it there works. But how do I see the details on that one command? We see this command. How do I see other commands? I'm trying to think of how to even word this. Gosh, guys, I'm lost when I can't ask AWS questions to ChatGPT and Docker questions. Oh my goodness, is he here? Please, chat. Oh, thank you, ChatGPT. You're my hero. Docker inspect layer ID. Not that. Come on. What's the layer ID? So maybe if I go back to too much crap on my screen. Did I do history at some point in time? Okay. How do I see details on these commands that say missing? Ooh, okay. That's helpful. So if I do the no trunk, it'll show me the full command. Let's try that again. Full screen. Oh, that still looks messy. But we have this command right here. Let's drop that in our notes. So I think that's what's going to be helpful to us, is that command right there, and that's what it talks about, doesn't it? If we make this small again, if we go back to the hint, the original Docker file had this command. It used the username flaws and password secret password. Ah, I see. So I thought maybe we had to get that, but that's the username and that's the password from that command. Wow, that was interesting. So we saw the ECR was not properly configured. We could list all the Docker images. Then we downloaded the Docker image locally to our machine. And then we looked at the history of the commands on the Docker image, and we discovered this username and password. Username was Flaws2, and password is secret password, like that. So now if we go back to here, is to log in to this guy. Flaws2, secret password. Wow. Okay. Well, that was good stuff, guys. We got through 2 challenges, and a lot more difficult than I was expecting. But we learned stuff. We learned how to enumerate Docker a little better, to look at the history commands with the no trunk option. We also learned how to figure out if a website's running on an S3 bucket, and then enumerate that S3 bucket to get some information from there to make it to that other challenge. So level 3 is where we're at. Next time I have a few things that we're working on. So I'll either do Flaws2.Cloud. Otherwise, in the evenings on Wednesday nights, I've been working through that room on TryHackMe. What is it called? WinCorp, rated as insane on TryHackMe. And we recently just got creds to that. So one of these rooms I'll be doing next time I'm on. But guys, thank you for taking the time this morning, hanging out with me. It was good to have you here. Appreciate you being here for my sound issues in the beginning as well. But guys, I will catch you in the next one. See ya.